You are tuned in to Kids
In the Pit. Erased from existence. At that point, I was like, oh man, this rips. I go back to Bandcamp and my frigging jaw almost hits the floor when I zoom into the description and see crossover thrash band from Delaware, ages 13 to 16. I'm like, bullshit. Dude, there was no way I was convinced in that moment that that was true. No way in hell. This was way too good to be performed by a bunch of kids. There we go. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Nice shirt.
Good. Yeah, no, are we rolling right now? Are we recording?
Yep, we are.
Oh, okay, cool. Dude, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. This is an honor, you know? Thank you, man.
Being on.
Yeah. No problem. Like I said, it was my honor. Cool hat. Cool. I used to have that, or I got it somewhere around here. I got it at a waist show like 100 years ago. Actually, it might have been. Wait, what year were you born in? You were, wait, don't tell me that. 2000, yeah, what year were you born in?
2011.
Oh, man, all right. So I got it at a waist show in 2006. So a couple years before you came around on the scene.
Nice. Hi, I'm gonna do my intro now.
Oh, cool. All right. Sorry. I'll shut up. Go for it, man.
You're good. Hey, guys. It's Gabe from the Kids in the Pit podcast. Today I'm being joined by Joe from Concrete Spew. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, man. Like I said, it's a huge honor. It really, truly is.
Yeah, thank you for being on. So you featured my band World of Chaos on an episode of Concrete Spew, and it was so awesome. How'd you find us?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, first off, thank you. All right. So here's the story. One night, I'm just kind of netting around, just, doing my thing online, and I go to Bandcamp, and I'm just like looking through. I think for like the search terms, I think it might have been like, because you can add like multiples, you can add like, black metal, grindcore, D-beat, whatever, I think the like search terms that I had were thrash and crossover, right? So, it does a pretty good job most of the time of bringing you what you want to hear and everything. But sometimes, though, there's like all sorts of other stuff. You might get stuff that sounds like Emperor or, Cannibal Corpse or something like that, despite the fact you're looking for thrash. But all right, so anyway, so I start looking around at some of these band names, and I'm getting a laugh out of it because some of them were pretty funny. Some of them might, it'd probably not be a good idea to say here and everything, but you can imagine though. So anyway, so I start looking through and I'm looking for like funny band names and stuff, and like then I was like, wait, there's some like cool band names out there too. So one of them was called World of Chaos. I'm like, all right, I bet these guys bring it. So whatever. So, okay, I think if I remember correctly, I pressed play and like shifted away, right? And it was the intro at that point, okay? And I was like in another tab. So I'm listening to the intro and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, right? So then when it was over, I'm like, I want to hear that again, okay? So I go back and I play the intro again, right? And probably after like the third time, I'm like, all right, I wonder what the rest of these guys sounds like. So erased from existence, okay? So that starts playing. And again, like I put my attention elsewhere on the internet and I hear it and I'm like, wait a second, like this is really good. What's going on here, right? So I move back and I'm like checking the band out. And all of a sudden I see in the description, it says ages 13 to 16. And I'm like, no way, right? I'm like, there's no way that this music that I'm hearing is being played by anybody under the age of like 30, okay? So I'm really intrigued at that point. I'm like, I gotta see if this is like a joke or some sort of like a gimmick or something like that. So I start looking around and I'm like, oh, okay, well, they have social media. Okay, so I see tax evasion, right? Tax evasion, I think is this.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, they got a video. All right, let's check it out. So I'm watching the video and I'm like, whoa, I'm like, all right, kid's got a Madball shirt on. I'm like, oh, check it out, by the way. So I'm like, oh, okay. So, he knows his stuff and everything. But I'm like, but this is like a real like music video. So it's very easy to just, you play the audio, you get the band members to like, lip sync over it, whatever. It still could be, other people playing it and just actors in the video. So then all of a sudden, I go to YouTube at that point. No, I was already in YouTube. No, so I find some live footage of you guys. And I'm like, oh my God, it's actually them. These are kids playing this music. I couldn't believe it. I was so impressed. Listened to it a whole bunch, listened to your other stuff and everything. And like, man, I was like, these kids are all, and girl, I should say too, because I think your guitarist is a girl, right? Your guitar, yeah,
Yep.
okay. But anyway, you folks are awesome. So I'm very thankful for the music that you've put out so far.
Thank you. That means a lot.
No, no, no. Totally honest. Totally honest.
So, when did you start the Concrete Spew YouTube channel?
I started it in October of 22, and it was after about a year of like wanting to do it, but not really knowing like what I wanted to do. And really the reason for it, because I'm wondering if that was going to be the next question. It was like, what was your reasoning for starting it? That's a pretty interesting story because in August of 2021, that is when there was a festival out in Las Vegas, very big musical festival. It was like 3-4 days long, called Psycho Las Vegas, and it had been going on for like years and years, but I had never gone to it before. But what made me go to it was because in early spring of 21, the world started kind of, actually, let me ask you this, because I'm not even sure if you might, do you remember like coronavirus? Do you remember
Yeah.
the COVID, that era? Okay, all right. So you remember then, like not a lot of people were able to like go out and do a lot of stuff and everything. Certainly weren't a lot of shows going on and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. So,
All I remember, sorry, all I remember from COVID was just like me and my friends. Like, so I'm homeschooled, but pretty much all my friends go to school. So
okay.
I just remember them being able to play games all week. So I was just playing video games with them all week.
Um, we all got these crazy memories. It seems just so like bizarre in retrospect and everything. Um, but yeah, so right around like early spring is when like the world, if you remember, kind of started opening up again. Like there were places to go, and some of the major cities were like, more accessible and stuff like that. So after a whole year in 2020 of not doing anything, just like everybody else, shut in and all that kind of stuff, as soon as I got the opportunity to like do something or at least set my sight on, a goal for the year, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to sit around this summer. I'm going somewhere. So I was going to book a trip to a tropical island, and in fact, St. Thomas, because I've never been to a tropical island before. But I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to go and it'll be a good time. It'll just be me, whatever. But then the lineup for Psycho got announced, and it was just way too good to ignore. It was like Danzig, Integrity, I Hate God, and then there was a bunch of Euro bands that didn't end up making it over there at the last minute because of like complications with travel and stuff like that. But like Emperor, Satyricon, so many different bands that like I wanted to see, Obituary, so many bands all in one weekend. And I'm like, I can't not go to this. And I have family in Las Vegas, so I'm there quite a bit anyway. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going, right? Now, the interesting thing about that, though, is that that was really my first big show I'd been to in many years. I mean, I'd gone to like, if Kiss were coming around, I'd go to Kiss. If Guns N' Roses were coming around, I would definitely go to GNR or Maiden or something like that. But for whatever reason, for about a 10-year period, I wasn't going to that many shows. And it wasn't really for any like, specific reason. It was just kind of like things got in the way, like I don't know, work or relationships or just like whatever, I'd still go to concerts, but I just didn't really go to shows. So like, I got a great example. If they came around during that period, I probably wasn't going to that. Or like Cephalic Carnage, like a grindcore band I used to love in high school. I wasn't going to see Cephalic. They also played at that Psycho Fest. But anyway, so I went to it and I just had such a good time. I'm like, man, I missed this so much. And really, what I missed most about it was just the culture, seeing, oh, is that a cat?
Yep.
Oh, adorable. Who is that?
Her name's Esther. She's
Hi, Esther.
2 years old.
Oh, what an adorable cat.
Yep. I mean, because
Oh man, good for all you guys.
you bite my face off.
Congratulations on Esther. Esther is absolutely adorable. I got a cat
Sorry
too
for yeah.
downstairs.
Sorry for interrupting. She just like jumped up.
No, no, no. I'm totally glad that she made the appearance. But I realized at that fest that I missed being around all the metalheads, all like, the hardcoreists, all the grindcore maniacs and like the doom metal weirdos and all that sort of stuff. So it was like I wanted to jump back into it somehow beyond just like going to more shows after that. So I was like, you know what? I could have an account on Reddit or like the music forum on 4chan or something like that. But I was like, that's just not the same. I really want to like, I loved interacting with people and talking with them and having the kind of like, what's the word? I think cerebral that's not the word. There's a great word to tie that all together, but I can't remember what it is at the moment. But anyway, so I was like, you know what? I'm like, I'll put my face out there on YouTube, and that'll be a way to really kind of interface with people and stuff. And so I've been doing that now for a couple of years. I've gotten to do some really cool things with it and everything. And like, so yeah, that's kind of what brought me to YouTube. And I'm glad I did, because I probably would have discovered World of Chaos had it not been for that.
Yep. Um. So I know we were talking about COVID a little bit ago, but I wish I was into like I wasn't really into like any like hardcore or punk or metal or anything back then. I didn't play guitar or drums or anything. Like I would have had. I mean, still have like a lot of time to play music, but I would have had so much free time that I could just got so much better at guitar and so much better at drums and so much better at stuff and like writing more songs and stuff.
That's all right. That's all right. It's funny you bring that out because I kind of have a similar sort of like gripe in my life with that too. And it's the fact that I got a YouTube channel. It's like, I think about it and I'm like, man, I really wish I started this channel like 10 years ago because I could have met a lot more people in that time period and stuff. But I think the thing of it is, though, is that like, the idea did not come naturally to me until a couple years ago. So, like, I guess the reason why I don't regret sleeping on that back then is because it just didn't come naturally to me. So and it did a couple years ago, and I'm thankful it came at all. So it's like maybe who knows? I mean, maybe had you picked up the guitar back then, and maybe you might have stunk at the beginning of it and got discouraged or something. But like when you first did more recently, like you're really good and stuff. But like who knows?
Yep. So I think it was for my 10th or 11th birthday.
10th.
So was that 2021 then?
Mm.
Yeah. So about like right when COVID ended, I think. Well, no. So did it end in like 2021, mid 2021?
Yeah, definitely.
So it was like right after it ended because my birthday was in November. It's in November, so it was November 2021 when I got my first guitar from my great uncle. He had a ton of guitars, so he gave me one.
Cool.
I still have that guitar, and it's my prized possession.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I had a couple Les Pauls that I sold recently. And man, what do you play? I can't remember from like the video
Um,
footage.
so I know in the video I was playing a blue Stratocaster covered in stickers, but the mm, right now, so I have another sticker bomb Stratocaster with
Oh wow.
so I have a red sticker bomb Stratocaster and a blue one. My main one's the red one, which is what I play live most. And I took a World of Chaos sticker that we had and I cut it up to make it like vertical, so it was like World of Chaos. I put Chaos on the headstock, so you could said it said Chaos, and halfway down that fretboard I put of on it, and then near the body I put World on it. So if you look at it, it says World of Chaos across the neck.
Oh, it's mean. That is a cool idea. That's mean. That's awesome. Good for you. Oh man, that's
There was
mean.
definitely no value left in that guitar, but it doesn't matter because I bought it for $75 on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, but yet, you know what though? It's probably worth $1 million to you though, and it'll grow
Yeah.
in value as time goes on.
I agree. Um, so the blue one I also got for $25. So those two guitars I got for $100 combined. That's the magic of Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. It's funny. I agree with that completely because I got 8 par lights is what I learned is the technical term for it. When you go to shows and you look at the like, I get the lighting truss, right? Like up above the stage. It's like that, those pieces of metal with the X's in them, and that's where like they hang like the colored lights from and stuff. I got 8 of those for $50 off Facebook Marketplace. It's like,
Crazy.
yeah, hell yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've bought so many guitars and basses off of there. I got a wait, have I sticker bombed like all the instruments I've gotten off Facebook Marketplace? Because I got a um bass for like $50 off Facebook Marketplace. It was a Squire, and I looked up the value. It was like 250 or something. Um, and I covered it in stickers too. I guess there's a thing with covering them in stickers in Facebook Marketplace.
Why not? Yeah, why not? I mean, if it makes you love the thing even more, like,
Yeah.
yeah, why not? Good for you.
And then there's this other guitar. It's a Les Paul. I play it sometimes. So I don't play it as live as much because it doesn't have a Floyd Rose or a tremolo at all. So, and I kind of need to do dive bombs sometimes.
Right, right.
So, we saw it at Guitar Center. It was used. I guess some punk rocker had it like 10 years ago because I know it's like a 15-year-old guitar, but it was completely covered in stickers. I didn't even know what color the guitar body was. So what I did is we bought it, and then I took all the stickers off and used Goo Gone on it, so there was no like residue left. Um, and then I covered it in stickers myself.
That's awesome. So you kind of like overhauled it like completely. So you took off. It sounds like a whole project using that Goo Gone stuff. That's not easy to use either, I bet. You really gotta like.
It wasn't too bad. I just had to I don't know, took me like a couple days. It wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah.
The show we were on our way to go see.
Oh yeah, we were on our way to see Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, nice.
I think it was October 2023. So yeah, we saw them in wait, you're in DC, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Oh, you know what? I'm going there for the first time in a couple months. What is the sound stage? Is that what that place is called?
That's in Baltimore, the Fillmore.
Oh, okay. All right. So I take that back. Yeah, not the Fillmore. Okay. So, well, you know what? Technically speaking, I guess it'll be a first seeing a show for me in Baltimore. A couple months from now, 6 Feet Under is gonna play, and like I'm going to that show. It should be really fun. I saw Suicidal Tendencies for the first time actually in 22 at that same Psycho Festival, and man, they were awesome. They were wild. I've never seen a pit like that before, man. That was just chaotic, It was a world of chaos.
Yeah, I also saw. Wait, where's that? Municipal Waste.
Municipal Waste is playing Sunday, October 19th at Silver Spring.
Oh, are you going to see Municipal Waste in Silver Spring, Maryland at the Fillmore, October 19th?
Well, let me see here.
Cannibal Corpse is headliner.
What? I'm sorry?
They're opening for Cannibal Corpse.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna assume that there's probably like a Richmond date or like something like,
Maybe.
something like that. So I would probably see him in Richmond. However, there's never any way to anticipate things that happen in life and stuff. So I very well may end up like, say missing the Richmond date or something. I've already actually seen them in Richmond once. So who knows? Yeah, maybe I'll bump into you guys, at the Maryland date.
Yeah, I saw them. I sang with them in Richmond actually on stage.
Yeah, that was insane. That was so cool, man.
You weren't there, right?
I'm sorry?
You weren't at that show, right?
Wait, what year was that?
It was this. Was that this year? Yeah, April this year.
No. I saw them in 21 at the Broadberry in Richmond. They opened for It was like Obituary headlined, and it was like Waste, Gate Creeper, and then Enforced. They're kind of a crossover band a little bit. I don't know a ton of their music, but good show though. Good show. So no, I didn't see you live at it. I only saw the video footage, which was mean, by the way. Mean. Yeah.
Let's say they're doing.
I can't
How
find
do you
it.
find? I can find it. Look for Cannibal Corpse.
Richmond on the 15th.
Yeah, they're playing the Norva.
Oh yeah, okay. I haven't
that's Norfolk. Wait,
Sorry, the National.
Wait. Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah. On the 15th, the National.
Oh, okay.
Municipal Waste headline.
Yep.
Wait, Cannibal Corpse is playing there?
Yeah, it's a
Is
big
that how
place.
big Municipal Waste is?
It's a big place.
I know, but I feel like that's kind of big for Municipal Waste to play.
It was packed.
Yeah, I'm maybe because they're from Richmond. I feel like Venus Boys is huge in Richmond.
Yeah, yeah. I would say, it felt really cool seeing them in Richmond because I've only ever seen them like around the around like other parts of the country. Like where I'm from, I spent most of my life growing up in New Hampshire. So I would go to a lot of Massachusetts shows and stuff.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, I know. It's like Massachusetts shows that if you say that quickly, it's like you can like kind of mess that up. But yeah, I've seen them like a bunch in Massachusetts and stuff, but never anywhere else. But I saw them in Richmond. It was like, whoa, this is like their hometown and stuff. It was pretty wild. It was pretty cool.
Wait, Mom, did we buy tickets for Silver Spring yet?
Yeah,
Could we go to Richmond too?
we'll see.
I bet there's gonna be so many people there, like for Municipal Waste. There might be
Okay.
more. That might be like more people from Municipal Waste than Cannibal Corpse.
It's
possible.
possible. Yeah, you never know. It's possible. Have you seen Cannibal Corpse before?
I have not.
Okay.
We need to listen to them more, but we have until October. I only know like a couple songs, so
Yeah, I've only ever seen him with Corpse Grinder and no, yeah, actually yeah, only twice, but it was like separated. It was like once in 2001. No, 2000, I'm sorry, in Worcester, Mass. And then again, at Psycho 21. So, but I've never seen him with that Chris Barnes. I've seen him with 6 Feet Under and everything, which is not. But yeah, no, they're fun live. They're pretty fun.
have Are you from Massachusetts or something?
I'm from New Hampshire. Well, all right. So I'm from southern New Hampshire. So it's very close to the Massachusetts border. Boston was probably about 50 minutes from where I grew up. And then Worcester, which was another very big, hardcore and metal town for many years. Same thing, about an hour away and stuff. So I've seen a lot of shows in Worcester and Boston, a couple in Connecticut and
Do you
stuff. And oh
do you
yeah.
happen to live by Pepperell, Massachusetts?
Yeah, Pepperell wasn't far. Pepperell was very close. I'm just trying to think of who I've known from Pepperell.
We played
Yeah, I
Pepperell in
think it was
January.
I'm sorry?
We played Pepperell at VFW in January.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yep, it was awesome.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay. Wow. What brought you up there? Did you guys know some bands up there or something?
So there's this kid that I know. He's 15. His name's Mateo, and he runs like a little DIY booking company called Discipline Booking.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So his first show that he booked was up there. And we played there with a good amount of kids. And it was after the show at like 1 a.m. or not 1 a.m., like 12. We all drove to southern New Hampshire and ate at a Denny's.
Yeah, no, hey, that's awesome, man. Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Yeah. All right, so you drove to someplace in southern New Hampshire and at Denny's. Let me think. I'm trying to think of like what towns have Denny's in them. So there's Nashua, which was like
I think it was Nashua.
oh, okay. All right. So I'll describe the like kind of like area for you, and you can maybe match it up to like
I know the Denny's.
Mall.
It was in like kind of a mall area almost.
yeah.
And it was right next to an interstate.
Yeah, oh, dude, yeah. You know how many times I've been to that Denny's? Millions of times. I grew up like you could take, if you were Tom Brady, you could take a football and whip it at my house and like he might be able to reach it. So I've been to that Denny's 100,000 times, man. That's awesome. That's so cool. How about that? Wow.
Yeah, it was right there. And then Mateo's dad decided to pay for everyone that was eating. So it was the band, Mateo, his dad, and then some of Mateo's friends were there, which was extremely nice of him.
Yeah, right. The bill couldn't, I mean, Denny's, I know it's like, it's on the more like affordable side, but
Yeah.
in my opinion, I feel like they could charge a lot more for that food because it's very good.
Yeah,
But
I think the bill ended up being like $100 or something.
Probably more.
What? I feel like it was like 100 something.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe like
wow, oh
150.
man.
But it was
Yeah, I guess when
extremely
you're
nice.
13, like $100 is like a big deal and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah. That's
Like-
so cool, man. Wow.
it was awesome. He's also, I believe it's on Saturday. He has a little DIY festival called Eco Style Festival.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
It's at the Middle East.
Oh, yeah, I've been to many shows there.
Do you know the band Moral Law? They're like a straight edge band. They're headlining that.
Moral law. I don't think I do. I don't, it's not ringing a bell. And now I feel like I'm out of the loop. I feel like I should know who they are, you know?
Yeah. And I think I don't know. I think is Pale Horse playing? Do you know that band?
Yeah. Wow, that's a big booking, man.
Pretty sure they're playing.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, there was a period of time from like 2000, really from like the scene started to kind of grow pretty strongly in like 2000. And then by like 2003, it was really big. Like people I remember started referring to like Massachusetts and like that area as like the current, like they said it was like kind of like the metalcore capital like of the country and everything. And it did. It had a long, and strong run. And then around like really then around kind of 2010 or so, I'd say that like for whatever reason, and I don't know why, but like maybe just because like certain people were getting a little bit older or something like that, it kind of, the spotlight was in different parts of the country and stuff. But at least for one point in time, that was like kind of like where, the scene was pretty strong and stuff. So,
Yep. My parents met at a show in Cambridge. It was Half Horror. Was it Crime and Stereo? And then a couple other bands.
2007.
2007.
Oh man, I Have Hard played?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Wow. So it was in Cambridge. I would think what, the Middle East, right? Maybe?
Elks Lodge.
Elks Lodge, Cambridge.
Oh, is that an Elks Lodge? Okay, all right. Wow, that's how about that? What a cool story that is, meeting at a show and then Gabe comes on the scene like a little while after that. And like,
Yeah, so she lived in Massachusetts and then my dad lived in Delaware, so it was pretty far for him to go.
Show this.
This is the
flyer that he had blown up for me for our anniversary.
oh man, you know what? Like I have seen that flyer before. I remember that show. I didn't go to it, but I have absolutely seen that flyer before. And like that's iconic right there. Wow. Oh, Energy. I remember Energy. That had to have been a fun show. Wow.
Important show.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
I might not exist.
Yeah, it's possible I would because you like
I still might have met him.
you and dad had like friends, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we still might have met. We've been to other shows. We'd
Yeah.
been to shows that at the same time and didn't know before that.
There's a live Blood for Blood album, and it was recorded, most of it was recorded at the Middle East. And to this day, right, I got no way to prove it, but to this day, like I still believe you can see part of my face on the back cover of this album. Because I was at the show and I swear I'm like, oh, that's me right there. I mean, there's a chance it might not be me, but I like to think it is. So who knows,
Yep. So how do you come with the name? How do you come up with the name Concrete Spew?
Yeah, okay, all right. I was just trying to think of something that like, okay, was both representative of like me, and I think that's where the spew part would come in because like I feel like when I'm on camera, it's just that's all it is. It's just a bunch of, crap like spewing out of my mouth and everything. Although I did start using a teleprompter at one point, and now it's kind of like I don't know how to be on camera without it. I mean, with the exception of like right now, but it's really difficult for me to be on any sort of camera unless I have like a pre-written script that like I write up and stuff. And then Concrete, that came from I was trying to think of just, certain words that would fit together in a way that were easy to understand. And, concrete's kind of like, oh, concrete, like metal and stuff like that. And like I was exercising and I was listening to there's this band called I don't know if it's fair to call them a band or if it's like two DJs or something, but they're called Dance with the Dead, right? And they're like, I saw them at Psycho in 22, but they're kind of like they're like an 80s sort of like, all right, so there's this stuff now, you might have heard of it, it's called synth wave, and it's just like a keyboard-driven style of music, but it's supposed to be real. It's supposed to make you feel like you're in the 80s, right? Now I make myself feel old just saying this and everything. But anyway, so they're kind of like they combine like metal with synth wave and stuff. And they had a song called they have a song called Sledge, right? And that made me think of a Pantera song called Primal Concrete Sledge. And I liked the word concrete. And then like I sat on it for a little while. I'm like, yeah, concrete spew. And it's also, I feel like it's kind of ironic and it's stupid in a way because it's like spew is a liquid and concrete is a solid. And like it would make sense that like some idiot metalhead thought that was cool because it's something that's like, impossible. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll go with that,
before it hardens, technically concrete's a
Oh, that's true. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that until this very moment. So, damn, man, that's good. I give it to you. It's really good.
you could spew out liquid concrete. Just you got to make sure you do it quickly before it hardens in your mouth.
Yeah, right. That's right. Then you're not gonna be able to breathe. Yeah.
You don't want to be stuck like that.
Right. No, I know. I don't at least,
Yeah, I don't think anyone would want to. Also, well, actually, would it block your nose? You could probably still breathe, but
I think the it would maybe make for like a cool album cover, but
Yeah.
beyond that, you know what I mean? Then people just get laughed at.
yeah. And you wouldn't be able to I'm probably overthinking this, but you wouldn't be able to eat.
No, I think ultimately it's probably a good idea though, because like if I ever get myself in some sort of a situation where like I'm trying to like act out, if somebody puts me to the test or whatever, I'll now know to avoid, that sort of a situation from occurring. So thank you, Gabe.
Don't put concrete in your mouth.
Yeah, there you go.
So, what are your top three favorite bands?
All right, so it's probably gonna be weird for like a channel that's like centers around hardcore and like and crossover and thrash and stuff like that. But I guess the answer's got to be, well, I can tell you two. The third one's probably debatable. But so Kiss, Guns N' Roses, and Iron Maiden, because those are really the bands that kind of like allowed me to eventually discover everything else. First, it was Guns N' Roses. I was like. Actually, I think your drummer's a Guns N' Roses fan, right? Because he had a shirt. He has a GNR shirt?
I think.
Yeah,
Shirt.
It was his dad's, but I think he likes it.
Yeah, I think he kind of likes them. He's more into Slipknot. Slipknot, he's like crazy about Slipknot.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, you know what's really funny about that? It's funny you bring up that band, right? So I'm not really familiar with a ton of their music, but I noticed you guys covered one of their songs. So I listened to that, right? And then I went and I listened to the original. What was the song called?
Eyeless.
Oh, Eyeless. Okay, Eyeless, right. Yeah, so I listened to your version, right? I'm listening. Then I went and I listened to theirs, and I was like, I'm like, I like Worlds better. It's like, because it sounded like you guys were really playing like still your own style and everything. So that must have been why like I liked it more and everything, but like, yeah. But yeah, so Guns N' Roses for sure. That started me on just like, everything. And then after that, Kiss, because like a lot of like my family, like, I actually hated them when I was like young, really young, because I was afraid of them. I was afraid of the album covers and stuff. But I eventually, came to love them. And Iron Maiden too. It was kind of the same thing. Like my siblings liked them and stuff. And then I ended up going just like crazy for Iron Maiden. So those would probably be my like, favorite bands of all time. But like if you ask me certain like genres and stuff, that might be a tough question too, though. Like say, I don't know, favorite hardcore band or ooh man, but I can give you those answers for right now. Those three answers at least.
That works. So, what was the first punk, metal, or hardcore show you went to, and how old were you?
Okay, all right. So it's debatable. Okay, I can give you an answer, but it's debatable because I think the first time I ever like experienced like real deal hardcore bands like in the flesh was Metal Fest, which was in Worcester, but it was called the you know that name, right? Okay,
Yeah, I was
New
there.
Metal and Hardcore
2024.
Fest. Yeah. So that was in 2000, and I mean. That was the year. Oh man, like I saw Hatebreed there. Blood Has Been Shed. I think a band from Connecticut called Death Threat played, and they're terrific.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Get it burnt and we slowly decay.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they played in 2000. But there were a lot of and there's a band Scarhead from New York.
Oh yeah, I
and
interviewed Zach. Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah. So and yeah, I got knocked out cold during Scarhead, and just it was an accident. Somebody was running around acting crazy and everything, and I didn't even know it. Next thing I know, next thing I know after that happened, I was sitting back at like in the Palladium is what the venue's called. there's like a sort of a mezzanine area. So it's like you walk in, then you kind of walk down some stairs, and it's like that's where everything is. And then there's like a seating area if you want to sit, but everybody goes on the floor for the pit and stuff like that. So my friend Adam, who's not with us any longer, Adam says, "Hey, let's go to the pit for Scarhead." So I'm like, "All right, cool." We go there. And then the next thing I know, all of a sudden, I'm back in like the seating area. And I'm sitting there with my friend Dan, and Dan is notable because there was a band for a while called Since the Flood. They put out an album on Metal Blade, and they were managed. Do you know the band Unearth?
Yeah, I'm friends with them.
Yeah.
My mom
Okay.
sells their merch.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So I think Trevor from Unearth had a label for a little while, and he managed Since the Flood and stuff. But anyway, so my friend Dan was in Since the Flood for a while, like one of the best friends like ever to this day. And so all of a sudden, like I'm sitting back up there with Dan, and I'm watching Scarhead now from afar, and I say to Dan, I'm like, "Hey, I'm like, how did we get here?" And he's kind of confused, and he's like, "Why are you asking me all these weird questions?" And I'm like, "I don't know. All of a sudden, I can't remember like anything." And then he's like, "Do you know what just happened?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think so. What, did something happen?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You just got knocked out." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense because my jaw right now is like, it's crazy." So my friend Adam comes back up from the floor and he says to Dan, he's like, "How's he doing?" And at this point, I'm like, "Man, this must be pretty bad if somebody's asking like how I'm doing and stuff." And so I'm talking to Adam, and Adam's like, "Man, you're not doing so well. Let's get you some water. Let's bring you to the bar." So I go up to the bar, and like there's this guy there, and he's very scary looking, this like metalhead guy. And I'm all like hazy and stuff like that. And like metalheads are sometimes kind of like scary looking anyway, you know? So I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, I think that's Glenn Benton from Deicide right there, which was strange because they were not on the bill. So he had no reason to be there. But regardless, though, it was a wild time, man. It was a wild time. That was probably arguably the first hardcore show that I'd been to, you know?
Nice. But yeah, so I was there in 2024 and I saw Suicidal Tendencies, ton of other bands.
Oh,
What else did I see
cool.
there? I know You're the Knife Played. I didn't see them though because I was in Florida that day seeing Weezer.
Oh, okay, fun. There you go. That's cool. I know, yeah, I mean, I know some Weezer songs. Like I know the ones like on the radio,
Yeah.
like the Sweater song, and then there's like Hash Pipe, I think it's called.
I so the first two albums I love, and everything past that I hate. Like the Green album with Island of the Sun, Hash Pipe, I hate it. I hate everything past then because it's just like pop rock to
Oh,
me.
real. They have a song or an album called Pinkerton, right?
Pinkerton is my probably favorite album of all time.
Oh man, okay, yeah, because I've heard a lot of people say that. They're like, because the album that was out when I like first noticed them was like the it's got a blue cover.
Yeah, the Blue album. It just
Oh,
called Weezer, but it's called everyone that like listens to Weezer calls it the Blue album.
oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean there was like, see, that came out, I remember, at a time when I was very mad at music because that was when like alternative music started getting really big. And I hated alternative music because I liked metal before that. And I was like, wait a minute, this alternative and this grunge stuff's making metal look like totally uncool. And it's like, pushing it to the side. But Weezer, though, was like actually like for an alternative band, or I don't really know how you describe them, but like they were like kind of heavy, like their guitar tones were like kind of heavy. Like what was oh man, I think the first like Mary Tyler Moore song, what's that song
Buddy
called?
Holly,
But Buddy Holly, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I knew the Buddy Holly song, and then yeah, Sweater I think was another one, right?
the Sweater song, yeah.
Sweater song, yeah, and it's like for I mean, they were probably the band I like most out of all that like era of bands like back then and stuff. So I've always had respect for Weezer, and I always will.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, like I hear they do a lot of like very heavy like chords. It's like they're if you listen to them instrumentally, you might think they're like a doom metal band. I mean not doom metal, but like they're like slower like heavy chords. Like if you listen to them
Okay,
instrumentally.
okay, that's cool. Yeah, no, I mean I could totally believe that because I think that's why like I like what sort of like gave me like a warm kind of association to them was because yeah, the sound of their guitars were like it wasn't like a band like Pearl Jam or
Yeah.
like Stone Temple Pilots or something like that. Like Weezer actually played like power chords, and they had a lot of distortion in their guitars and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, you know what, Weezer, they're cool,
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I saw them, and I was so we had general admission. It wasn't that big of a venue actually. It was, I don't know, I'd say probably like, I mean, for Weezer it wasn't that big, but it's like big compared to what most children see. I mean, I'd say that place was, it was the Hard Rock Live in uh Miami, Hollywood, Florida, Miami
Oh,
essentially.
okay.
Um and I'd say that was probably like 5,000 cap. It's not like, I feel like Weezer usually plays like, I mean, like stadiums and stuff. They played
Yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
what's like, they played the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, like the hockey stadium, the
Wow,
Flyers.
that's a big venue. That's a big
Yeah.
house. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Oh man.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you. Good for
Yeah,
you.
and I was so there was the barrier, then there was one person, then there was me.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
cool.
we got there
They should have
pretty
let you
early.
be up front. They should have let you be up front. You know what I mean?
And I mean, it was fine. I was like, during later in the set, there were these like, I think like college kids there, and they just kind of let me in front of them for the rest of the set. So
Cool. They got
uh,
my respect then.
they also played. So that was the Blue Album tour, 30 years of the Blue Album, um, and they did like a Pinkerton. So it was like space themed. It was the Voyage to Blue Planet tour.
Oh, that's cool. That's
And
cool.
they had all these like crazy props and stuff. Like they had a rocket like go off above the stage,
Oh,
and
that's
like
awesome.
they had a area while they were traveling. So they played a bunch of songs not on the Blue Album. Then eventually they played all the Blue Album once they got to the planet. Um, and then on the way they had a Pinkerton asteroid belt. So they played
Oh,
a ton of
that's
Pinkerton songs, which
awesome.
was awesome. Yeah, I think I
That's
need to stop
awesome.
talking about Weezer now.
No, but like as you were talking about, it, I was just thinking, I was like, I don't even know a ton of Weezer music, but like I'd like to see that show live. I think it's gotta be cool, man.
They put on a great show. Like it was very entertaining.
And you know what? I think that's really what makes a big difference for like bands that like, if you're not a hardcore band, right? Because like hardcore and metalcore, that's all about the music and the energy. You really don't need a ton of like theatrics and stuff for people to go nuts. Because the
Yeah,
people are going to go nuts because of the music. I mean, hardcore music, it moves people. It's designed to just create pits and for better or for worse, fights, and that kind of stuff. It's like, but if you're just like, a different style like that, like a rock band or whatever, you kind of if you can incorporate some theatrics, then good. And so I like it when I love it when bands like, put on a show and stuff like that. And now I'm kind of kicking myself because I didn't see the Weezer, what is it, Onward to Blue 30th.
Voyage to Blue Planet.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was really fun. Just make sure you watch. I mean, not watch. Just at some point listen to some songs off of Pinkerton. That album is great.
Yeah. No, so you're co-signing right there, like cements it for me then, because I've heard a bunch of other people say like it's really good and stuff. So
Yeah,
cool.
it's a great album. Um, so what are two of your most memorable shows or concerts you've been to?
Okay, so I've got a lot of like, pretty strong memories at shows and stuff, but I can remember, okay. Um, it was in Connecticut and it was at a place called Fat Cats and Hatebreed had just okay, so this is like February of 2003, right? So Perseverance was the second album that came out, okay? And that came out in like I think early spring of 2002. Now, what's notable about that is that like if you might have noticed that in hardcore and in metal, more so maybe hardcore, sometimes people have a tendency to like if a band starts to get really big, sometimes some of the fans kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit too cool for them and everything now, right? You'll notice it, right? You'll notice it. But
Yeah,
anyway, so the first Satisfaction is the Death of Desire, first like Hatebreed full length, was out and everybody loved them and everything. Then they got a record deal with Universal Records. So it was all of a sudden, it was like no more Victory Records. Now it's Universal. Oh, I hate, and a lot of people around that time were talking, Hatebreed's gonna sell out. Don't even bother buying the next album. Like, forget them, right? So, I loved Hatebreed, and curiosity really got the best of me. So when Perseverance came out, I'm like, I just got to hear it. And I could not deny that it was an awesome album. I'm like, I don't care if they're on Universal Records. I don't care if they're on Taylor Swift Records or something like that, right? I'm like, this is an awesome album. So that came out, and then I think what had happened is they must have signed some sort of a contract with Universal when it came to like touring and stuff, because they news started going around that like there was this band called A Call for Blood, and they sound an awful lot like Hatebreed, right? They don't have any albums, they only play live. So word got around, and it was like, oh, that's actually Hatebreed, but they're playing under a different name. They're playing under the name A Call for Blood. So it was kind of like if you knew about it, like, you would go and stuff like that. So me and my friend Adam, who actually, there's a channel on YouTube called No Jumper. It's like one of the biggest like rap channels like on YouTube, like enormous channel and everything. So he grew up down the street from me, and we were close for a long, long time. We used to go to shows together all the time. So we went to this A Call for Blood show. And I guess it was probably just that it ended with like the most violent fight I had ever seen, and it shut down the show. So by the time Hatebreed was playing, somebody like started a fight, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, the fight ended up on the stage. Hatebreed stopped playing, and they were like, all right, show's over, like, we're done, and that was the end of it. But I'd never seen a brawl that was, I mean, I was scared. I was I was doing a ton of that and everything. I hate that kind of stuff. um and then the next, oh, all right, well, I'll give you another Hatebreed show that when I turned 18 years old, they played in Nashua. In the downtown area, there's like this like plaza, and it used to have a live venue in it. And like a Hatebreed tour got announced, and they were going to be in Nashua on my birthday when I turned 18. It's like, oh my God. And they played with a band called Sworn Enemy from New York, who I loved at the time, like still do. Death Threat played the show. Unearth actually opened the show. So it was just such an amazing time. I got to meet Jamie and stuff, and it was just like, it was such a good time. Those probably would be the two biggest. I mean, then there was the Blood for Blood show, which was notable because it was kind of their like reunion, and then they played it, and then they recorded most of the show and put a live album out. And I think I might be on the back cover and everything. Who knows? Even if it's not me, I think I might go with that it is me. But so those are probably the two. But I mean, I've been to a million others, from then until now and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. So what are two of your most no, I already said that. If you could tell your 13-year-old self anything at all, what would you tell him?
I would tell myself not to worry as much. I would just be like, you know what? Everything's going to be cool. Everything's going to be okay. I mean, there's no way to guarantee anything in life, but I used to, and I think a lot of kids do, depending on like how society is at the moment. Like kids worry about like, oh, what am I going to be like when I'm older? Am I going to, get famous? Am I going to, whatever? Am I going to achieve my dreams or something like that? Who knows? I think I would just tell myself to like try to enjoy every day. You know what I mean? And not be like so focused on the future and everything. Like have goals, and if you realize like, oh, you know what, I'm not feeling this a couple months down the line or something, it's okay to abandon those goals and do something else. Or if you just want to chill for a little while, like whatever. So I would just tell myself like, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry as much, and like try to enjoy like the now, try to enjoy the now. Cause like I didn't for a long time, but to be completely honest with you, I mean, I don't practice that 100% now, but it's hard to, it's hard to, but I try when I can, at least when I remember that, that's when I try.
Yep. Well, yeah, do you have anything else to add before we wrap it up?
I don't think so, man. It's just been so cool hanging with you. And I mean, the fact that like, you thought enough to me, you and your folks and everything to say, hey, come on, kids in the pit. That's a huge honor for me because it's kind of like, you guys are an awesome band and everything. And I'm still just blown away that stuff came out of you guys. Oh, you know what? I do have one more thing, and it's actually a question for you. Can you reveal anything about like the follow up to your EP, like when that might come out? Because I'm just
Um,
excited for it.
I mean, so far we have a full instrumental song that's about like 3 minutes. And we're working on. I don't. The thing is, so with my lyric writing, I'm not good at writing lyrics unless I have a topic. Like I'm bad at coming up with topics for lyrics, but then I'm really good at writing them. So, we're gonna try to put something out like next year. So basically what we want to do is every year, in like around summer or spring, we want to release all the songs that we've written so far. So the first one we had 3 songs. This year we had 5, and hopefully we'll have more next year.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. It's something that's pretty simple and like, some people put a lot of constraints on their like schedule and stuff. Like we got to have an album done by the end of the year, this or that or whatever. It sounds like you guys are like taking the right approach, which is just like at one point we'll put all the songs out that we have and everything. And I think that's really cool and I'm looking forward to the follow-ups.
Also something cool. We have a one-sided LP coming out soon with our first and second EP on there. So
Oh, nice, nice. Wow, you printing that? Was that that's coming out on vinyl?
on vinyl, yeah.
Oh man, all right. Well, I look forward to purchasing it. Absolutely. And wait, you guys, I think, are playing a show in DC coming up soon, right?
It got canceled.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't ever
What?
confirmed.
June 20th.
Yeah, well, it was July 20th, but it didn't.
Oh yeah, July 20th. June 20th already happened.
It was
Oh,
never
okay.
confirmed. We thought it was. It wasn't.
Oh, all right. Well, if something ends up happening and July 20th ends up popping off, then I will see World of Chaos from the crowd and everything.
We will definitely let you know.
Yeah, cool, cool,
You'll play
cool.
DC
Yeah,
again.
we'll play DC eventually. And we
Sure.
played Sterling, Virginia. We played that in April. Yeah. I think we can.
You'll get up that way.
Yeah. We'll get there
Sounds
sometime.
good.
If you
Sounds-
hear of any shows that need bands, make sure to drop our name in there.
Yes, yeah, no question, no question. I absolutely will. So yeah, is there anything else you need from me?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for doing this. I'll just do my outro now, if that's okay.
Cool.
Thanks to Joe for joining me today, and thanks to all you for watching or listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Until next week, bye.